Live from Abuja is Kabir Adamu. He is the Managing Director of Beacon Consulting, a security risk management and intelligence consulting company for the Sahel region. Give us a bit of an insight, Kabir. Niger gained independence from France in 1960. So just how much influence or control does France still have in the country to warrant these ongoing protests?
The French post-colonial policy has been one that is more or less not full independence. In other words, they have remained in an integral part of the administration of most of their former colonies. In the case of Niger, there are several components of that administration. Starting from the military agreements, there are about 6 of such military agreements, dating as far back as 1977. And then when it comes to the economy, the 3 minerals that Niger has have to an extent French involvement in terms of their mining. The most, I think, popular one that has angered most Nigerians is uranium. There is a suggestion that the agreement between France and Niger allows Niger to keep only about 5.5% of the proceeds of that mineral. And in social life, you see the same thing. So clearly, France's post-colonial policy is one that has remained integral in terms of its presence within Niger.
Now, France has said it's ready to retaliate if its embassy or its military base is targeted during this uprising. Do you see a real risk of violence?
Yes, this is an escalation of the very tense diplomatic or severe diplomatic relations between France and Niger. Immediately after the coup, the junta did announce the cancellation of military agreements between Niger and France, as it were. And yes, today, Saturday, is the date that that agreement would have ended, according to the military, pronouncement. However, France is of the view that the junta does not have the right to cancel such an agreement, that it has to be the elected president, which is President Bazoum. So I think from an international relations point of view, the outcome of this difference between France and Niger would be something that perhaps would set precedents. With regards to whether there could be violence as a result of this, France has over 1,000 troops deployed to Niger. And of course, they would come out to protect any French interest once that French interest is threatened. So it will be a very interesting period for international students of international relations.
Indeed, it is one that we're monitoring very closely. Give us just finally an update with regards to sanctions. ECOWAS said it wants to impose restrictions. Other countries have been speaking against the the coup in Niger. Are sanctions doing anything to bring the junta back into dialogue with other regional partners?
So the problem with the junta has been they've not been straightforward in their conversations and their promises. Of course, what they did is against the Nigerian constitution, and so one is not surprised that they've not been straightforward. Since ECOWAS imposed the sanction on July 30th, there have been indications to show that the sanctions are biting hard on the Nigerian people and that they are also affecting the livelihoods as well as the humanitarian situation within Niger. Now, the General Abdurrahman Chiani has mentioned severally his anger regarding especially the humanitarian consequence of the sanctions. But it doesn't seem that is affecting how he's handling the situation. He's gone ahead to do what he had wanted to do. He's formed his government, and he's not come to table with ECOWAS with regards to their request for him to return power to President Bazoum. So clearly, yes, he's worried about the sanctions, but it's not stopping him from moving ahead with what he wants to do. With regards to what is happening on ground, there is a huge humanitarian challenge. Just about 2 weeks ago, the UN released a report that indicated about 2 million children are at the risk of starvation in Niger. And then when the reports we're hearing from hospitals within Niger is that they are affected by the power outages, they are affected by their ability to meet the health needs of most Nigerians. So it's not a good situation at all. Sadly, despite this situation, we're not seeing any change from the rhetorics and the actions of the junta.
We really appreciate your analysis there. Thank you so much for joining us here on TRT World.